Miss Huxtables! I'm coming to you today to make this video to discuss a topic that's been on my heart recently, and I just wanted to get it off my chest and share it with you all, and I hope that you all can relate and I'll be able to articulate exactly what I want to express to my viewers and my subscribers. So I want to dedicate this video to the memory of my grandmother, my mother's mother, Dorothy Jackson. And she passed away my freshman year of undergrad, so she's no longer with us. But this is my grandmother, this is my mother as a baby, and my great-grandmother. And so I want to dedicate this video to her because I've been so blessed in this journey on YouTube, and I cannot express or vocalize how much it means to me when women comment on my videos or they write me, they share pictures of their hair, they share stories of their experiences, they share that I'm an inspiration to them, they reach out to me asking for suggestions or help. I don't take that lightly, and I feel a lot of responsibility ethically and socially to support women and to educate women on achieving their hair goals and other goals that are in the realm of female empowerment. But I mentioned my grandmother because my grandmother suffered from Alzheimer's in her latter years in life, and my grandmother was old school. She was a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. She actually was one of the few black women to get a master's degree in social work. She was a social worker in New York for many years, and she spent a lot of time helping to raise me and just was a huge influence in my life, from watching her watch Oprah to stopping and with paying in change to get the New York Times every day when she picked me up from school, to the second you walked into her house she had a full shelf full of books. She was just an incredible woman. But I remember up until the day that she passed, she insisted on two things. One, having a relaxer in her hair. Two, having permanent black hair dye. Her hair had to be jet black and it had to be relaxed. And you guys know I'm not anti-relaxer, I'm not team natural, I'm not anti anything, or I don't promote that. But when I thought about making my channel and I went natural myself, I knew that the legacy of this woman would always be a part of it, because I watched my grandmother suffer from I'm not sure the form, I should have asked my mom, but it was a form of alopecia that she developed, where she was a dark-skinned woman and her skin started losing discoloration and developing. I don't know if it was almost like scar tissue or just the skin cells were so damaged that her scalp and the area in here started turning pink and discolored and pale. And the doctors had encouraged and urged her, you know, to stop getting relaxers, to stop getting chemical hair dye, and she continued to keep doing it until she passed away. Because in her mind, you know, to be beautiful, to be taken seriously in our society, to be seen as an educated, proper woman, you know, your hair had to be straight, and she didn't want any gray hairs, it had to be black. And I just remember, even when my mom eventually transitioned, and she now rocks and for many years now has worn a low cut. She just cut all her hair off. She was over it. The disapproval that my grandmother had about that, and her beliefs about, you know, you're supposed to have straight hair, you're supposed to have hair that's as long as possible, black hair, and that's what you do. There's no other, you're not doing the natural thing, you're not wearing an afro. She was just old school. And so I really am so inspired by the whole natural hair movement, the movement to reclaim wearing your hair naturally. And if you understand African American history, how that stems out of the 60s and 70s, and how taking or culturally reclaiming what it means to define yourself as beautiful, what it means to style your hair, is extremely empowering and extremely important. And I use that intro to kind of segue into one of the larger one of the larger points that I want to make with this video, and that is when I first made my first video, I think was the hair journey video, and I remember being out and a woman who had seen the video approached me and said to me, you know, you're beautiful, you really should be confident. Like, you know, it just seemed like in that video you're very self-conscious, and, you know, it's just hair. Like, you shouldn't really get that caught up in hair. And I remember thinking in my mind, like, I tried not to be defensive because it's hard. I'm a private person. When you put videos up and you share things about yourself with the world, and then people are just like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or why did you say that? It's hard not to get defensive or feel like you need to defend yourself really quick. So I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that I was coming off as being not having self-confidence, or I'm not sure, that's not what I was trying to get across. And I apologize if you took it that way. Or she was like, no, that's basically what you said, that you lacked confidence because of your hair at certain points in your hair journey. And so I just had to take it, like, whether I said it or that's what she interpreted. I was like, oh, okay. You know, I apologize. That's not what I really want to convey in my videos, and I appreciate you bringing that to my attention. And it's interesting that that stuck out to you. And so to this day, that comment has still kind of haunted me, if I'm being honest, because I feel like a lot of times women aren't honest and transparent in their feelings. And I feel like admitting that you are displeased with an aspect of yourself, or admitting that a certain area of your life or your beauty or something has always frustrated you, gets attacked as, you know, you're being self-conscious, or you're not being honest with people. And I don't want to ever come off that way. And I want to be as transparent as possible. And this leads me into this moment in TV that I watched that has stuck with me for years. And I just wanted to share this with y'all. I remember years ago when Tyra Banks' talk show first came out. First off, I remember before that always watching her modeling show, Tyra Banks Want to Be on Top, or whatever, Top Model. I would always watch Top Model. I thought it was the coolest show. I thought Tyra Banks was gorgeous. And when her talk show first came out, I would watch the talk show. And in one of the episodes of her talk show, she had African American women as her guests, and she was interviewing them and talking to them about the issue of skin bleaching. And I remember one particular episode, there was a mother, and she had her 2 sons on the show, and I don't exactly remember what complexion she was, but she was black. Her sons were black. I think maybe one son had a different father from the other and was lighter complected than the other son. And Tyra was interviewing her about how she made the decision to apply bleaching cream or bleaching agents to her sons' faces throughout the day, or in the morning and at night, to lighten their skin, and how she applied more skin bleaching cream to her son that was darker complected to make him lighter and more handsome like the other son. And I distinctly remember Tyra Banks, as well as the audience members, just being like, oh, how could she do? You know, every time they asked her another question or she talked more about the process, everybody was in disbelief, or just so judgmental and confused about how could she possibly do this. And I remember Tyra at one point, in kind of a chastising voice, just being like, I don't think she went so far as to say that the woman was a bad mom, but she was just like, how could you do that to your child? You know, it doesn't matter what complexion you are. You know, I'm Tyra Banks, and I'm, you know, I could be, there's dark-skinned models, and that's ridiculous. I just can't understand why you would do that. And I remember one person in the audience posing a question or commenting like, that's horrible. Look what you're doing to your kids. Like, how could you do that? And by the end of the episode, everybody had pretty much ganged up on the woman and made her feel horrible about bleaching her children's skin, to the point that the woman was just like, okay, I'm going to try to stop or cut back on doing it. And I think they followed up with her later and she had stopped. But I don't agree with skin bleaching at all. I don't think that's a correct message to send to your children. I think there's a lot of self-hatred involved with a process like that, where you're putting dangerous chemical agents on your skin to lighten it. So I'm not justifying her actions at all. But what I had a problem with, and what I have a problem with sometimes in the natural hair care community or certain things, is when people judge or make people feel ashamed or guilty for their choices without ever addressing the society or the reasons why people do things. Because I firmly believe no one wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to be ugly today. I'm going to feel ugly. You know, you don't just wake up and decide that something about you is not acceptable or not beautiful or not you know, wonderful. The society teaches you that. And so when we as a society refuse to address the underlying issues or the deep-rooted causes that make women feel inadequate or make people feel inadequate, then in my opinion, you're also contributing to the cause, because no one spoke about the heritage or the legacy of racial conflict in this country that made that woman feel that lighter skin was better. Nobody spoke about the lack, especially during years ago, the lack of darker skinned women on magazine covers or in movies, or the lack of promoting or talking about the beauty and complexity of African American or African skin. No one talks about when you go into a MAC beauty counter or you go to do a photo shoot or something, how most people are not trained to style your hair or have colors that match your skin complexion or have things that make you feel accepted and part of the general community and normal. No one talks about those issues. They just make you feel bad for having a certain non-politically correct stance on how you look. And that's why I'm making this video, because I don't ever want people to think like, oh, you have long hair, so you're beautiful, it's gorgeous, I envy your hair, I just want to watch your videos to get long hair, and I still feel inadequate, or I feel ugly, or I feel less than if my hair never reaches my hair length goals, or my hair's never as long as yours. Because life is about so much more than that, and you have so much more potential, and you're so much more dynamic than any one aspect of your external body. But at the same time, I do understand and I do relate to women that have certain hair goals or have certain dreams about their hair in relationship to whatever factors. And I won't sweep under the rug that people have certain beliefs about hair or in relationship to hair for a variety of different reasons. And I just wanted to make that clear, because nothing touches me more than when I get messages from women who have been in car accidents or instances in which scar tissue has formed on their scalp. Women that have served our country and have had abrasions or things that create scar tissue or scabs that don't allow for the hair to grow back. Nothing touches me more than women that suffer from alopecia or lupus, or are cancer survivors, or have been through bouts with chemotherapy, or have been through things and triumphed as the warriors, the strong, capable, empowered women that they are, and have suffered hair loss, or have had children and now are suffering from hormonal imbalances or certain things that are wreaking negative effects or havocs on their hair. I don't want those people to ever turn away from my message, from me, from my channel, and just say, oh, we don't have the same texture, we don't have the same story, or her hair is long and mine isn't, or she's natural and I'm relaxed, or she, you know, her hair's never been, she's never had a low cut and I have a low cut and my hair won't grow. Because it really touches my heart and hurts me when I have girls send me messages, I hate my hair won't grow, my hair is so stubborn, I just wish my hair could be like yours, I can't ever get it to work, I don't have money to afford the products that you talk about, or I have to ask my mom to buy me vitamins because I can't afford it. I just never want people to feel like they're less than, because I feel like our society strategically and actively works to make you feel that you are not worthy, that you are less than. If you don't have this beauty product, if you don't have this size nose, if you don't have this color eyes, if you don't have this color complexion, if you don't have this length hair, if you don't have this size body, if your breasts are too small, if your, if your ears sticks out, it's always something that's going to be thrown in your face to make you feel like you're less beautiful, or you're less worthy, or you're less desirable. And please do not buy into that. Please do not buy into that, because it's brainwashing and it's a lie. It is a complete lie. It's not true. So I stand before you today like I pulled my hair back. I don't have a stitch of makeup on other than some vitamin A and D ointment on my lips because they're dry, because this winter weather is no joke. But I don't have anything else on my face, and I just want you all to understand you truly are beautiful and you truly are a blessing. And no matter what your faith system is, or your spirituality or belief system, I believe in a creator that only makes masterpieces, that it's, you're not a finger paint, you're not an experiment, you're not something that just got thrown together, or we just put it on the refrigerator to make people feel good. No, you're a masterpiece, and you are perfect and uniquely you. And do not let anyone or anything make you feel otherwise. Period. Period, point blank. And when you have women that are honest and open about their insecurities, or honest or open about certain things, let's have a larger, deeper discussion rather than tearing them down. Let's try to understand why they have that belief or why they think that way. Because like the story of my grandmother, I mean, a lot of beauty things are passed down from generation to generation. I can show you, hold on, let me show you. I just wanted to show you guys a cover of Vogue when I was in Paris last summer. When you grow up in a world that promotes, and of course I'm in France, so that's what you're going to see, but promotes images and pictures of people that don't necessarily look like you, sometimes it's hard. Like, my nose doesn't look like this, my lips don't look like this, my skin doesn't look like this. And so I just want you to know, and I just wanted to keep it 100% real in a positive way. Everybody goes through that. Every woman has things that they're insecure about, or that they've been teased about, or they've been made to feel bad about. But I'm brave enough and I'm honest enough and courageous enough to say that I will not support and I will not fall victim, and I do not want any woman to feel less than because they've been taught or made to believe that they are not good enough. And to just keep it real, I mean, I've had people tease me, my nose is too big, my lips are too big, my eyes are too dark, they're not pretty, they're not an exotic eye color, my skin is too dark, it's not light enough. At different stages in my hair journey, my hair was wrong, my edges, I was teased all throughout grade school because my hair looked a mess. I mean, my mom sent me to school to learn. She sent me to school to have fun, to go play and let it all hang out during recess. It's recess. I want to go play and roll around in the wood chips, and if my hair looks a little funky after I'm done, I let it all out on those monkey bars. Yes, my hair looks a mess right now, but that's the reality. You know what I mean? And I just remember throughout my childhood, you know, getting my hair done and having to think twice about going swimming, or getting my hair done and having to think twice about going outside to play in the rain, or going outside to play if it was humid, or just the consequences that my hair, it was always dealing with something with your hair, or hearing women say, and I grew up in the Midwest, you know, I don't want my daughter playing outside for too long because her skin's going to get darker, or, you know, you're too dark. Or I remember in high school playing tennis, and I loved tennis, being outside all day long, having a ball, but it was the Midwest. It was 95, 96 degree days. So yes, when I come inside from playing tennis, my skin's going to be darker. I have melanin and I'm black. It's surprise. You know, that's who I am. And being, oh, you got dark today. You sure? Oh, you were out there a long time. You sure? Man, you look, oh, you got real dark. Dang, you got dark. And all those comments, whether they're meant to be malicious or not, that subconsciously affect you, that you carry with you throughout your life, that build up, build up, build up, build up. And I could just only imagine that woman on the stage of Tyra Banks, and having Tyra Banks, a lighter skin model with long lace front weaves and wigs and green eyes, and, you know, stand there and tell her, like, how could you do this to your children? You know, how could you think that way? And Tyra Banks, who I know in many interviews has said people made fun of her forehead, or she was very tall and lanky and people made fun of her body type. You know, some of the most beautiful, revered global models have insecurities because people teased them and made fun of them their whole childhood or something. So it's always going to be something that somebody has a problem with. It's always going to be something that somebody wants to say, whether it be out of jealousy, ignorance, maliciousness, whatever the factors may be. But I just want you to know you are beautiful. And I know that may sound cliche. I know you may feel like, I'll never meet that girl. I don't even know who she is. I just watch her YouTube videos. But if you get no other message out of my channel, if I serve no other purpose, please believe in you. Please know and understand that you are beautiful, and love yourself. Love yourself, love yourself, love yourself. Because that was just on my heart today, and I refuse to prey on women's insecurities. I refuse to prey on women's desperation to meet some standard of beauty without having a conscious and ethical standpoint behind it, and without being transparent and saying, I've been there and I understand. I understand how that feels. And I understand the history of the hair care industry. And I understand that the first female millionaire in this country, regardless of race, was Madam C.J. Walker, and it was making hair care products, making hair care things geared and designed towards black women. And I understand the power of the hair care industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And so I also understand with this natural hair movement, the potential that that's given to open up a lot of economic and entrepreneurial doors for a lot of women across this nation. So please reflect on that. When you spend your money, when you support companies, when you watch videos, when you support YouTubers or vloggers or bloggers, you know, just think about, just reflect and think about the responsibility and the legacy that that means. Because I come from, you know, my parents are both black, and my mom, you know, grew up in the 60s and 70s, and it meant something when James Brown said, "I'm black and I'm proud." It meant something to pick out your hair and to express yourself and to reclaim your African roots. It meant something to say, "I'm beautiful. I'm not going to be made to feel ashamed or feel bad because of the way that I look." And so that was just on my heart today. I hope that I said everything I wanted to say clearly and you can relate and understand where I'm coming from. If you want to post any of your experiences or share your responses below, please do. And have a blessed day. Give yourself a hug and just have a moment today to meditate on the fact that you're beautiful just the way you are. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.